The Wisconsin Department of Corrections has agreed to provide more assistance to support hearing-impaired inmates. The decision comes as part of an agreement with federal investigators. The U.S. Department of Justice announced that it was investigating complaints from inmates in several facilities in Milwaukee. The complaints alleged that corrections officials were not repairing inmates' hearing aids. They also said that other services were being withheld, such as sign language interpreters, text telephones, and phones compatible with hearing aids. Corrections spokesperson Beth Williams-Hardkey said the complaints began in 2018. The new settlement requires corrections to provide interpreters, video telephones, hearing aids, and other services when necessary. And the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is encouraging Michigan residents to get free COVID-19 at-home tests. These are available through the federal government's COVID-19 test website. All U.S. residents can go to covidtests.gov to sign up and receive up to 4 free at-home tests per household. They will be delivered by the United States Postal Service. MDHHS is also continuing its program partnering with libraries across the state to provide free at-home COVID-19 tests to Michiganders. There are 3 participating libraries in Marquette County. These resources aim to help Michigan families form a COVID plan that works for them.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation announced today that the state has received the top award of $900,000 through the U.S. Small Business Administration's State Trade Expansion Program, also known as STEP. The Michigan Strategic Fund will also be contributing $300,000 as the state match to the initiative aimed at helping small businesses grow. This marks the 13th year that STEP has provided funding to the state, with Michigan receiving nearly $15 million in total funding, focusing on international exports. In the fiscal year of 2023, more than $2 million was allocated to 254 businesses utilizing the MEDC International Trade Resources, with MI-STEP reporting over $510 million in export sales to 127 countries. And the Michigan Department of Transportation has announced that more construction is underway. The MDOT hopes to wrap up fall construction in a couple weeks. Starting today, traffic will be redirected on the ongoing project rebuilding the US 2 bridge over I-75. Each direction will have 1 lane open, with both outside lanes shut down for about 2 weeks. Another bridge will be receiving renovations in Mackinac County, as the US 2 bridge over Millicogan River will be resurfaced, with construction expected to last around 18 days. Finally, Senior Township will have daytime lane closures for repairs running through Grand Street to Grand Elk Railroad crossing. An 11-foot lane width restriction will be in place during the project. The repairs are expected to last until October 20th, barring any delays. And the housing crisis has hit communities across the nation, including the elderly population. In Berrien Springs, Timber Ridge Manor and its citizens are the latest to be affected. WSBT's Tyona Baxter has more. Take a look.
A mostly empty parking lot here at Timber Ridge shows the reality for those remaining here as tenants continue their search for a place to live and worry about the dwindling time.
This is my home. I didn't want to move again. I'm 74 years old. I'm tired of moving.
Time is running out for tenants at Timber Ridge Manor to secure new housing as the complex is set to close by the end of October. It comes as a 40-year contract between HUD and University Retirement Centers, which operates Timber Ridge for Andrews University, expires. URC is considering new uses for the property.
The possibility of converting the property to student housing for Andrews University is one of the possibilities under consideration.
Dunn says residents were notified last fall, 1 year in advance. In response, URC and Timber Ridge Management provided HUD vouchers, along with tips and leads for alternative housing, even hiring extra staff to assist with the transition. However, the vouchers issued by the Michigan Development Authority were delayed by several months. Originally expected in May, they arrived just a few weeks ago.
So some tenants had already, made other arrangements and moved to other accommodations without the benefit of those vouchers, but a number of other tenants wanted to wait and receive the voucher.
Do you think they gave you guys enough time?
No, not with the voucher situation.
Tiepo has lived at Timber Ridge since 2016. While she planned to stay longer, she says she's blessed to have recently found new housing before time was up. But she says that's not the case for many of her neighbors.
Some of these people are 90, 95, 88, disabled, no place to go. Wrong. These people are panicking. I want everybody to go, I don't know what I'm going to do. Some people have to go in nursing homes. Now, assisted living.
As Timber Ridge gets ready to close, officials say the focus is now on helping residents find a place to live.
Reporting in Berrien Springs, Tiana Baxter, WSBT 22 News.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and national news after this break. Stay tuned.
No world is truly unchanging.
This is nature at its absolute finest.
Our daughter, she's gone missing. I should leave this alone.
But you won't.
He's doing things no one had ever done before, and that is astounding.
It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Hello and welcome back. My name is Beck Birdley, and I will be giving you a weather update for the day. Looking at the Academic Mall, it's looking like a lovely day. Pretty excited to see what conditions we have across the UP, though. Starting off in Houghton, we have a high of 57 with mostly sunny skies. Moving down to Ironmore, looks like a high of 57 with the same conditions. Down in Iron Mountain, we have a high of 62. And down in Menominee, we have a high of 62 with sunny skies. On the eastern side of the UP in Escanaba, we have a high of 64 with mostly sunny skies. In Manistee, we have a high of 62 with the same conditions. Over in Sault Ste. Marie, we have a high of 61. And back in Marquette, it's a high of 58 and sunny. Currently, we're looking at winds out of the northwest at 7 miles per hour with a barometric pressure of 30.04 inches and steady. And tonight, we can see partly cloudy skies with a high of 43 and winds out of the west-southwest at 8 miles per hour with a moon phase of a waning crescent. And tomorrow, we're looking at windy conditions with a high of 61, a low of 52, and winds out of the south-southwest at 17 miles per hour. And looking at the next few days, this Thursday, we have a high of 62 with mostly sunny skies and a low of 46. This Friday, a high of 57 with mostly sunny skies and a low of 45. And this Saturday, a high of 64 with the same conditions and a low of 52. That's all I have for weather. Back to the news desk.
Well, thank you for that weather update, Beck. But now it's time for your national news, starting with this. Dock workers at 36 ports in the eastern U.S. are on strike for the first time in decades. The strike could lead to higher prices and product shortages if it continues for a few weeks. If that happens, some analysts think it could impact the upcoming presidential election. However, supply chain experts say consumers won't be immediately affected since most retailers are stocked up on goods for the holiday season. The contracts of about 45,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association recently expired. These strikes began Tuesday over ILA wages and ports' introduction of automation. The U.S. Maritime Alliance, which represents eastern U.S. ports, said both sides of the dispute had moved from their initial wage offers, but a deal could not be reached. And a new lawsuit brought by the Arkansas Attorney General says YouTube is deliberately addictive, causing an ongoing mental health crisis in the state and forcing it to spend millions of dollars on mitigation. The lawsuit says, quote, YouTube amplifies harmful material, doses users with dopamine hits, and drives youth engagement in advertising revenue, end quote. Last year, Arkansas filed similar lawsuits against TikTok and Facebook parent Meta, which remain ongoing. It also passed an act requiring parental consent for minors to make social media accounts. That law has been blocked by a federal judge, but other officials are calling for more scrutiny. In particular, U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy has called for warning labels on social media platforms similar to those on cigarettes. And just today, Iran is reported to have launched missiles into Israel. This comes after Israeli troops have entered Lebanon. With more, CBS News has foreign correspondents on the story. Take a look.
Sirens wailed and explosions could be seen in the skies over Israel as Iran launched a ballistic missile attack against Israel.
I think this escalates the situation really in a very serious way.
Iran's UN mission says it launched the attack because of Israel's attacks on Hezbollah and in retaliation for Israel's ground offensive in Lebanon. Iran also promised what it calls a, quote, crushing response if Israel retaliates. A U.S. defense official confirms American forces are helping to intercept some of the Iranian missiles. This comes as the Pentagon has moved additional military support to the Middle East to help Israel defend against further attacks. The U.S. is sending 3 additional aircraft squadrons to the region. An F-15, F-16, and A-10 squadron will be arriving soon, joining another squadron already in the region. This is on top of the 2,000 to 3,000 more U.S. service members the Pentagon ordered to the region Monday to join the more than 40,000 already there.
An Iranian diplomatic source told CBS News that hardliners within Iran were demanding the strike against Israel. The White House had previously warned that an attack will carry severe consequences for Iran.
Israel says it's keeping its ground forces close to the border to try to stop Iranian-backed Hezbollah forces from launching rockets into Israel.
If the state of Lebanon and the world can't push Hezbollah away from our border, we have no choice but to do it ourselves.
Israel has warned Lebanese citizens to evacuate the area, and many are heeding those calls, with Hezbollah escorting civilians out. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And wait right there. After this short break, Austin Graham is going to have a sports breakdown you won't want to miss. Stay tuned.
Governor Tim Walz.
The ball's in our hands. Let's find a new way forward.
Senator J.D. Vance.
We are going to lead a great American comeback.
How will the candidates for vice president convince voters to support their respective tickets? A PBS News special, the CBS Vice Presidential Debate simulcast, Tuesday, October 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Graham, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report. Starting things off on the diamond, playoff baseball is here. The Detroit Tigers square off against the Houston Astros, while the Milwaukee Brewers host the New York Mets in 2 wild-card matchups. A month ago, the Tigers were 10 games out of a wild-card spot, and it had a 0.2% chance of making the postseason. The team went 31-13 the rest of the way and clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2014. As for the Brewers, they enter the series as NL Central champs, making their 6th playoff appearance in 7 years. However, Milwaukee hasn't won a playoff series since the 2018 National League Championship Series, something they'll look to change against New York. And passing things over to the gridiron, the Detroit Lions defeated the Seattle Seahawks in an instant classic on Monday Night Football. Jared Goff was picture perfect for Detroit as he completed all 18 of his pass attempts and even caught a 7-yard touchdown pass from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Goff set an NFL record for passes without an incompletion, a record previously held by the Cardinals' Kurt Warner, who went 10 for 10 against the Texans in 2005. Geno Smith of the Seahawks went 38 for 56, throwing 395 yards for Seattle in a losing effort. Kenneth Walker hauled in 3 touchdowns for the Seahawks, a career high for the star running back. Both teams moved to 3-1 on the year, with Detroit entering its bye week, while Seattle, on the other hand, will host the New York Giants on Sunday. And kicking things over to soccer, the NMU men's team is set to host St. Cloud State in an unusual midweek matchup. The Wildcats head into tomorrow's game coming off of a 1-0 loss to UW Parkside over the weekend. The loss to Parkside sent NMU to 7th overall in the GLIAC, while St. Cloud State heads into the match as the top dog in the conference with a 3-0 record. Overall, the Huskies are 5-2, while Northern is 1-2 in the conference and boasts an overall record of 4-2-1. Kickoff for tomorrow's game is set for 2 p.m. That's all I have for sports today. Back to the desk.
Thanks for that sports update, Austin. Liam, speaking of the Tigers, they're currently up 3-0 against the Astros. Pretty exciting stuff.
That certainly is exciting. I have to say it's pretty cool to see their turnaround. As Austin mentioned, their chances were quite slim at the beginning, but they've really made a comeback. But that's all the time we have left today at Public Eye News. I'm Liam Eulen-Joy.
And I'm Luke Middle.
And we'll see you next time.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.